The large silver spaceship landed in the center of New York Central Park. People gathered around, their phones recording the historic moment. This was the first official contact from the Galactic Council. 3 aliens walked down the ramp. They had blue skin, 4 arms, and eyes that glowed like stars. The tallest one spoke in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are representatives of the Galactic Council. We come in peace." Within hours, world leaders gathered at the United Nations. Ambassador Elena Chen sat at the front, chosen to speak for all of humanity. Her heart beat fast, but her face remained calm. "We welcome you to Earth," she said. "We are honored to meet other intelligent life." The head alien, who called himself Zorn, smiled. "We have watched your planet for 50 years. We are pleased to see how peaceful humans have become." Elena tilted her head. "Peaceful?" "Yes," Zorn continued. "Your nation signed peace treaties. Your military spending decreases each year. You clearly fear war and violence." The other aliens nodded in agreement. "Most species we meet are aggressive, always ready to fight. But humans seem different. You avoid conflict at all costs." Elena looked around at the other human leaders, who seemed just as confused. Humans had fought thousands of wars throughout history. Even now, there were conflicts around the world. Why did these aliens think humans were afraid of war? "We value peace," Elena said carefully. "But—" "Exactly," Zorn interrupted. "You fear the destruction war brings. This makes you perfect candidates for protected status in the Galactic Council." Later that day, Elena met with her team in a private room. "They've completely misunderstood us," said General Jackson. "Humans aren't afraid of war. We're just trying to avoid it when possible." "I know," Elena replied. "But maybe we should learn more before correcting them. What exactly is this protected status they're offering?" Her assistant, Lee, showed her a tablet. "According to their information, protected species receive technology and trade benefits, but they can't leave their solar system without permission, and their military is controlled by the Council." Elena frowned. "So we basically become their servants." "It seems that way," Lee agreed. "Species with full member status have much more freedom. But those are classified as war-capable civilizations." Elena looked out the window at the alien ship glowing in the darkness. "Don't correct their mistake yet," she told her team. "Let's find out more about this Galactic Council. I have a feeling there's something they're not telling us." As the aliens returned to their ship for the night, Zorn spoke quietly to his companions. "The humans accepted our assessment without argument. They truly are as passive as we hoped." The smallest alien nodded. "The Council will be pleased. Earth has many resources we need." None of them noticed the small drone following them, recording every word for Ambassador Elena's ears. 3 days after the aliens arrived, they called for a special meeting. All world leaders gathered in the UN building. The room was silent as Zorn stood to speak. "The Galactic Council has made a decision," he announced. "We invite Earth to join as a protected member species." Screens around the room lit up with images of advanced spaceships, glowing cities, and strange machines. "You will receive these technologies," Zorn continued. "Your lives will improve. Disease will vanish. Hunger will end. In return, we ask for small amounts of your resources." Ambassador Elena watched carefully. The offer sounded good, but something felt wrong. "And what are the limits of this protected status?" she asked. Zorn smiled. "Only minor restrictions. You may not build weapons. Your space travel must stay within your solar system. And Council ships will patrol your planet to ensure your safety." The room erupted in whispers. Some leaders nodded eagerly, while others frowned with suspicion. "We need time to discuss," the UN Secretary General said. "Of course," Zorn replied. "You have 3 Earth days to decide." After the aliens left, heated debate broke out. "This is a trap," said the Russian president. "They want to control us." "But think of the benefits," argued another leader. "An end to human suffering." Elena slipped away to meet her team in a secure room. They had been working day and night to learn more about the Council. "Show me what you found," she said. Lee displayed images on the wall. "We intercepted communications between their ship and others in space. We've been translating them." The images showed beautiful planets similar to Earth. Then they changed to show the same planets years later, stripped of forests. Oceans turned brown, huge mines dug into the land. "These are other protected species," General Jackson explained. "The Council takes their resources and gives little in return. They're not allies. They're parasites." Elena's face hardened. "What about the full member species? The war-capable ones?" "They're treated much better," Lee said. "The Council respects them and trades fairly with them. They have freedom to expand to other star systems." "So if we're seen as weak, we're exploited," Elena said. "But if we're seen as strong, we get respect," Jackson finished. Elena stared at the images of ruined planets. "We need to change how they see us." The next morning, Elena requested a private meeting with Zorn. "Before we decide," she said, "I'd like to show you more of Earth, to help you understand us better." Zorn looked pleased. "An excellent idea. What would you like to show us?" Elena smiled. "I think it's time you learned about human history. The parts we don't usually share with visitors." "That sounds fascinating," Zorn said, not noticing the determined look in Elena's eyes. Behind them, General Jackson gave a small nod to his aides. The plan was now in motion. The next morning, Elena led Zorn and 2 other aliens to a special meeting room beneath the Pentagon. General Jackson was waiting with a team of Earth's top military analysts. "Before we show you our history," Elena said, "we'd like to learn more about the other protected species in the Council." Zorn looked uncomfortable. "That information is not relevant to your decision." "We think it is," Elena replied firmly. She nodded to Lee, who pressed a button. The wall screens lit up with images from the intercepted alien communications, planets before and after Council protection. Green worlds turned into mining wastelands. "Where did you get these?" Zorn demanded, his blue skin turning darker. "We have our ways," Elena said calmly. "Now please explain why these protected planets look so damaged." The smaller alien whispered to Zorn, who looked increasingly angry. "These planets volunteered their resources for the greater good of the galaxy," Zorn finally said. General Jackson stepped forward. "Did they know what would happen to their worlds when they agreed?" When Zorn didn't answer, Elena continued, "We've also learned something interesting about your classification system. Species labeled as war-capable receive full membership and autonomy. They keep control of their militaries and can travel freely in space." "That is correct," Zorn admitted. "But those species have proven they can defend themselves. They are valuable allies." "You mean you're afraid to exploit them?" General Jackson said bluntly. The room grew tense. For a moment, Elena thought Zorn might call off the negotiations completely. Instead, the alien leader composed himself. "You misunderstand. The Council creates harmony in the galaxy. Different species have different roles. And you decided our role without knowing us," Elena said. She turned to an aide, who handed her a secure tablet. "This message just came from our team analyzing your ship. Your computers show that the Council has been taking over planets for thousands of years. You find resource-rich worlds, label them as needing protection, then slowly drain them dry." Zorn's eyes widened. "How did you access our—" "That's not important," Elena interrupted. "What matters is that we now understand the truth. And we won't accept becoming another depleted world in your collection." After the aliens left, Elena convened an emergency meeting with world leaders. "They've been systematically conquering planets by pretending to protect them," she explained. "But species they consider war-capable are treated as equals." "Then we must show them we are war-capable," said the Chinese president. "But not that we're warmongers," Elena cautioned. "There's a difference between being able to fight and wanting to fight. We need to demonstrate our strength while maintaining our principles." The UN Secretary General nodded. What do you propose? Alina smiled. I suggest we give our visitors a tour of human history. The real history. Let's show them why it's a mistake to underestimate us. As night fell, satellites detected unusual activity around the alien ship. They were sending urgent messages to the Council. Time was running out for humanity to change the aliens' minds. The next morning, 3 black helicopters landed near the alien ship. Alina and General Jackson greeted Zorn and 5 other Council representatives. Today we will show you Earth's military history, Alina announced. This is something we usually don't share with visitors. The aliens looked nervous, but they followed Alina into the helicopters. Their first stop was the National Military Museum. Inside, large rooms displayed weapons from throughout human history, from stone axes and swords to modern tanks and fighter jets. Humans have been developing weapons for thousands of years, Alina explained as they walked. Each generation builds on the knowledge of the last. Zorn stopped in front of a display about nuclear weapons. You created these, and then stopped using them. Yes, Alina said. We understood their power was too great, but we didn't destroy them all. The aliens exchanged worried glances. Next, they visited a military base where soldiers were training. Men and women climbed walls, fired weapons at targets, and practiced hand-to-hand combat. Every country on Earth maintains armed forces, General Jackson explained, even in times of peace. One alien, named Krell, spoke up. But your weapons are primitive compared to Council technology. General Jackson smiled. Are they? He led them to a hangar where scientists were working on experimental weapons, laser systems, sonic devices, and drones smaller than insects. These are just the technologies we show to visitors, he said calmly. After lunch, they visited a war memorial. Thousands of names covered the walls. Alina stood quietly, letting the aliens take in the sight. Why do you honor those who died in war? Zorn finally asked. Because they sacrificed themselves to protect others, Alina replied. Humans don't want war, but we will fight when necessary. The final stop was a special viewing room. On large screens, they showed footage of historical battles, from ancient Rome to modern conflicts. The aliens watched in silence as scenes of human warfare played before them. Their expressions changed from curiosity to concern to fear. You fought so many wars, Krell whispered. Yes, Alina said. But notice something important. After each war, we tried to build a better peace. We learned from our mistakes. As the sun set, they returned to the UN building. The aliens were unusually quiet. I must ask you directly, Zorn said at last. Are humans afraid of war, as we first thought? Alina looked him straight in the eyes. Humans don't fear war. We fear the necessity of it. There's a difference. She paused, then continued. We prefer peace. But if threatened, we will fight with everything we have, and our history shows we usually win. That night, the aliens held an emergency meeting in their ship. Their original assessment of humans had been completely wrong. The Council would need to know immediately. Back in her office, Alina waited for their response. The next move in this dangerous game would determine Earth's future. 3 days passed without word from the alien ship. Alina and her team waited anxiously. Military forces around the world remained on high alert, but no one wanted to appear threatening. On the 4th morning, Zorn requested an official meeting at the UN. All screens and recording devices were banned from the room. The Galactic Council has reviewed our reports, Zorn announced. His voice was stiff and formal. Earth's status has been reclassified. The room grew silent. Humans are now designated as potentially aggressive, he continued. This classification grants you more autonomy, but also places you under greater scrutiny. Alina nodded calmly, hiding her satisfaction. This was exactly what Earth's leaders had hoped for. We accept this reclassification, she said. What does it mean for our relationship with the Council? You may maintain your military forces. You may explore your solar system freely. The Council will offer limited technology exchange rather than direct assistance. We will establish an embassy here, and you may send representatives to Council space. After the meeting, Alina met with the world leaders in private. We've won the first battle, she said. They now respect our strength. But will they leave us alone? Asked the Japanese Prime Minister. I don't think so, General Jackson replied. They still want our resources. They'll just use different tactics now. 2 weeks later, Jackson's prediction proved true. A mining station on Europa, Jupiter's moon, sent a distress call. They were under attack by unknown ships. Alina rushed to the emergency command center beneath the Pentagon. Screens showed the situation at Europa. 3 black ships were firing on the human outpost. Who are they? She asked. Not Council ships, an analyst replied. But their weapons are too advanced for human pirates. General Jackson frowned. They're testing us. The Council wants to see how we respond to a threat without directly attacking us themselves. How many people at the outpost? Alina asked. 57 scientists and engineers, someone answered. Alina straightened her shoulders. Then we have no choice. Activate the Space Defense Force. Across the room, jaws dropped. Only a handful of people knew this force existed. Madam Ambassador, Jackson said quietly, if we reveal those bases now. We have no choice, she repeated. We won't sacrifice our people just to keep a secret. Jackson nodded and opened a secure communication channel. This is General Jackson. Authorization code Sierra, November 597. Activate Mars Base 1 and Lunar Defense Station. Deploy Europa Rescue Squadron immediately. Across the solar system, hidden doors opened in the surfaces of Mars and the Moon. Ships that no Council spy had ever detected emerged from underground hangars. Earth had been preparing its defenses for decades in secret. As Alina watched the screen, she whispered, now the Council will learn what humans are truly capable of. On their ship orbiting Earth, Zorn received the first reports of human space forces mobilizing. For the first time since arriving, he felt real fear. The command center was silent as everyone watched the large screens. 6 human defense ships raced toward Europa. They were sleek and black, designed to be nearly invisible against space. Time to target? Alina asked. 17 minutes, an officer replied. General Jackson stood beside her. Those attacking ships expected an easy victory. They thought we'd surrender or send a weak rescue mission. On the screen, they could see the mining outpost on Europa. Half of the dome was damaged, but emergency shields had prevented complete collapse. The workers were huddled in the central area. The attackers continued firing at the outpost. They didn't notice the human ships approaching from behind. Our ships are in range, the communications officer announced. Alina nodded. Open a channel to the attackers. A moment later, she spoke firmly. Attention, unknown vessels. This is Ambassador Alina Chen of Earth. You are attacking the human facility. Cease fire immediately, or we will defend our people. The alien ships paused their attack. Then, suddenly, they turned and fired at the approaching human ships. They've made their choice, General Jackson said grimly. Commander Williams, you have permission to engage. On the lead defense ship, Commander Sarah Williams gave the order. All ships, evasive pattern Delta. Target their weapon systems only. The human ships moved with surprising speed, dodging enemy fire. Earth's vessels fired precise laser bursts that damaged but didn't destroy the attacking ships. We want prisoners, Alina had instructed. We need to know who sent them. The battle lasted only 7 minutes. 2 of the alien ships were disabled. The third tried to escape, but was caught in a tractor beam. Europa outpost is secure, Commander Williams reported. All attackers have been captured. We have 12 injured personnel at the outpost, but no deaths. A cheer went up in the command center. Earth's first space battle had ended in victory. Now for Phase 2, Alina said. Bring the prisoners and those ships back to Mars base. I want to know everything about their technology and who sent them." 3 days later, Elena sat in a secure room beneath the Pentagon. Before her was a holographic image of an alien with green scales and 4 eyes. "I will not tell you anything," the alien said. Elena smiled. "You already have. Your ship's computer wasn't as well protected as you thought." She pressed a button, and images appeared in the air. "You are a mercenary, hired by the Vectrals, one of the dominant Council species. They wanted to test our defenses without directly involving themselves." The alien's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in surprise. "What will you do with me?" he asked. "Return you to Council space with a message," Elena replied. "Tell them that humans defended themselves with minimal force. We could have destroyed your ships, but we chose not to. We want peace, but we are prepared for war." As Elena left the room, General Jackson was waiting. "The Council will respond to this," he said, "and not peacefully." Elena nodded. "I know, but now we have alien technology to study, and we've shown them that humans are not easy targets." In orbit around a distant planet, the leaders of the Galactic Council gathered for an emergency meeting. Earth had just become their biggest problem. 2 weeks after the battle at Europa, Elena sat in a comfortable room on Mars Base 1. Across from her was a different prisoner, a small purple alien with 6 tentacle-like arms. Unlike the aggressive mercenary, this one had asked to speak with human leaders. "My name is Trill," the alien said. "I was the engineer on the 3rd ship. I am not a warrior." "Why did you attack our outpost?" Elena asked. Trill's large eyes blinked slowly. "I needed the work. My people, the Nexel, were once proud scientists. Now we build weapons for others because our resources are gone." "Taken by the Council," Elena guessed. "Yes, 300 years ago, they offered us protection. We accepted gratefully." Trill's voice grew bitter. 5 years later, mining ships arrived. They stripped our planet of metals. When we protested, they cut our food supplies. Elena leaned forward. "Tell me about the Council. How does it really work?" Over the next 3 hours, Trill revealed the disturbing truth. The Galactic Council had been conquering planets for thousands of years. 3 species dominated all others: the Vectrals, the Azuri, and the Meridian Collective. "They identify potential rivals," Trill explained. "Species with resources but limited space travel. They offer protection, then slowly take everything. And species that resist," General Jackson asked, "are crushed by superior numbers and technology." Trill paused. "But none have ever responded as effectively as humans did at Europa. The Council is divided on what to do about Earth." Elena shared a look with Jackson. This was valuable information. "What about other subjugated species? Are any fighting back?" she asked. "Some try. The Lyrians have hidden technology for centuries. The Taurans have secret military training. My people, the Nexel, have preserved our scientific knowledge while pretending to be simple laborers." "Could these species ally with Earth?" Elena asked. Trill's eyes widened. "You would risk that?" "The Council forbids alliances outside their control." "The Council doesn't control Earth," General Jackson said firmly. Later, Elena presented her plan to Earth's leaders. "Trill has given us communication codes for potential allies, species who have suffered under Council rule for centuries. Together, we could form a coalition strong enough to demand fair treatment." The UN Secretary General looked worried. "This could lead to war." "It could lead to lasting peace," Elena countered. "The Council respects strength. Alone, each species is vulnerable. United, we force them to negotiate honestly." After debate, the vote was unanimous. Earth would reach out to potential allies. 3 days later, Elena sent coded messages to the Lyrians, Taurans, and Nexel. The response was faster than anyone expected. All 3 species were eager to discuss alliance. They'd been waiting for someone to lead them. Trill explained when Elena told him the news. someone with both the strength to fight and the wisdom to know when not to. As preparations began for secret meetings, Zorn demanded an audience with Alina. "We know you're communicating with other species," he said, his blue skin dark with anger. "The Council forbids this." Alina smiled calmly. "The Council has no authority over Earth. We will speak with whoever we choose." For the first time since their arrival, the aliens seemed truly afraid of what humans might do next. A small fleet of human ships traveled to the neutral zone between star systems. Alina stood on the bridge of the lead ship, the UES Defender. This meeting could change the future of Earth and many other worlds. "We're approaching the coordinates," Captain Rivera announced. 3 ships are waiting." On the main screen, 3 very different vessels appeared. One was long and silver, one was round and copper-colored, and one was triangle-shaped with glowing blue edges. "Open a channel to all ships," Alina said. When the connection was ready, she spoke clearly. "This is Ambassador Elena Chen of Earth. We come in peace and friendship." 3 alien faces appeared on separate screens. One had golden fur and cat-like features, one had tough gray skin with ridges, and one was purple like Trill. "I am High Commander Lyra of the Lyrians," said the golden-furred alien. "General Torvik of the Taurans," said the gray-skinned one. "Chief Scientist Nexval of the Nexel," said the purple alien. Alina bowed respectfully. "Thank you for meeting us despite the risks." "Your victory at Europa gave us hope," said Lyra. "For centuries, the Council has kept us divided and weak. We have brought information to share," Alina said, "and a proposal for alliance." The meeting lasted 12 hours. Each species shared their history with the Council. The Lyrians had been protected for 700 years, the Taurans for 500, and the Nexel for 300. They followed the same pattern each time. Torvik growled. "Promise help, then take everything." Alina explained Earth's situation. "They misunderstood humans from the beginning. They thought we feared war because we try to avoid it. A common mistake." Nexval nodded. "The Council believes that only primitive species limit warfare." As the meeting continued, they shared their secret strengths. The Lyrians had hidden advanced navigation technology. The Taurans had developed powerful shield systems. The Nexel had created energy weapons that even the Council didn't possess. "Earth offers military strategy and leadership," Alina said. "Our history of both war and peace gives us unique perspective." By the end of the meeting, they had formed the Independent Systems Alliance. Each species would contribute their strengths while maintaining their independence. "This is dangerous," Lyra warned. "The Council will see this as rebellion." "Let them," Torvik said firmly. "Together we are stronger than they know." As they prepared to return to their home systems, a warning came from Earth. Council ships had been detected entering the solar system. "They're moving faster than expected." General Jackson's voice came through the communication system. 20 warships heading toward Mars. Alina turned to her new allies. "The Council wants to make an example of Earth before our alliance grows stronger." "Then they will face all of us," said Nexval. "The Independent Systems Alliance stands together." For the first time in centuries, the dominated species had united. The Galactic Council's greatest fear was coming true. Back on Earth, military forces prepared for possible attack. The planet that the Council had once considered afraid of war now stood at the center of a resistance that could change the galaxy forever. The Council fleet arrived at Mars orbit with 20 massive warships. Each was 5 times larger than Earth's biggest vessel. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. On the main screen in Earth's command center, the face of a Vectral appeared. He had green scales and yellow eyes with vertical pupils. "I am Supreme Commander Zextor of the Galactic Council," he announced. "Your unauthorized alliance is forbidden. Dissolve it immediately or face destruction." Alina stood tall before the screen. The Independent Systems Alliance was formed by free worlds. "We will not dissolve it." Zextor's eyes narrowed. "Then you leave us no choice. We will make an example of Earth. You have 6 hours to surrender." After the transmission ended, Elena turned to her team. They want to destroy us before our alliance grows stronger. Can we evacuate the planet? Someone asked. General Jackson shook his head. Not in 6 hours. Not even a fraction of our population. Admiral Kenzo Rodriguez, leader of Earth's space forces, stepped forward. It's time to use the adaptive defense system. Elena nodded. Prepare it immediately. For 3 years, Earth scientists had secretly worked with alien technology recovered from crashed ships. They created a system that could analyze enemy weapons and develop countermeasures in real time. The system had never been tested in actual combat. 5 hours later, Elena addressed the combined forces of the Alliance. Human ships positioned near Mars were joined by vessels from the Lyrians, Taurans, and Nexel. The Council believes they can intimidate us with superior firepower, she said. Today we show them that technology alone doesn't win battles. Courage, strategy, and unity are stronger. Admiral Rodriguez outlined the plan. When they attack, we won't engage directly. Their ships are too powerful. Instead, we'll activate the adaptive defense system and let them fire on an uninhabited moon first. Exactly 6 hours after the ultimatum, the Council fleet moved into position. Zextor's voice boomed across all channels. This is your final warning. Surrender or watch your world burn. When no response came, he ordered, target their moon. Show them our power. 20 massive energy beams fired simultaneously at the small moon orbiting Mars. The surface exploded, sending rocks into space. Now demonstrate what will happen to their cities, Zextor commanded. The ships fired again. But this time, something unexpected happened. The energy beams hit an invisible barrier and dissipated harmlessly. What is happening? Zextor demanded. On the bridge of the lead human ship, Admiral Rodriguez smiled. The adaptive defense system analyzed their first attack. Now it knows exactly how to counter their weapons. Elena opened a channel to the Council fleet. Supreme Commander Zextor, your demonstration is over. Now witness ours. Small satellites around Mars activated, sending targeted pulses toward the Council ships. One by one, their weapon systems shut down. This is impossible, Zextor shouted. Our technology is superior. Technology is only as good as the minds that use it, Elena replied calmly. We offer you a choice. Retreat and arrange for proper peace negotiations, or remain and be captured. For the first time in thousands of years, the mighty Council fleet faced defeat. The species they had dismissed as afraid of war had outthought them completely. 1 month after the confrontation at Mars, representatives from all Council species gathered on a neutral space station. For the first time in thousands of years, the dominant species were forced to sit as equals with those they had oppressed. Elena stood at the center of the great circular hall. Beside her were leaders from the Lyrians, Taurans, and Nexel. Across from them sat the Vectrals, Azuri, and Meridian Collective, the longtime rulers of the Council. This historic meeting will establish a new galactic order, Elena began. One based on mutual respect, not exploitation. Supreme Commander Zextor's scales rippled with barely controlled anger. You humiliated our fleet. You turned our protected species against us. You mean the species you were slowly destroying? Lyra of the Lyrians asked sharply. General Torvik of the Taurans stood tall. For centuries, you took our resources while calling it protection. That ends today. The negotiations lasted 7 days. At times, it seemed they would fail completely. The dominant species resisted any change to their power. You cannot undo thousands of years of order, the Azuri representative argued. An order built on lies, Elena responded calmly. We're not seeking to punish you. We want a fair system for all species. On the 7th day, an agreement was reached. A new galactic charter was drafted with 3 key principles: equal rights for all member species, fair trade of resources, and prohibition of coercion or exploitation. The Independent Systems Alliance would continue as a separate entity, but would work with the Reformed Council. Earth would lead a new committee to identify and help species that had been exploited. As the leaders signed the agreement, Zextor approached Alina privately. "You could have destroyed us," he said quietly. "Why didn't you?" Alina looked him in the eyes. "Because that's not who humans are. We don't seek war or domination. We only fight when we must, and we prefer to make peace when we can." He studied her curiously. "The Council completely misunderstood your species." "Yes," Alina agreed. "Humans don't fear war. We simply understand its true cost, and that makes us the most qualified to ensure peace." 3 months later, Alina stood on a hillside in Switzerland, watching the sunset. Earth was changing rapidly. Alien technology was helping solve problems of climate, disease, and hunger. Human ships were now exploring beyond the solar system. General Jackson joined her, looking up at the stars that were becoming more familiar each day. "The dominant council species are keeping their promises so far," he said. "The reforms are working." "Because they respect us now," Alina replied. "Not just our strength, but our wisdom." "Who would have thought," Jackson mused, "that being mistaken for a species afraid of war would lead to this?" Alina smiled. "The irony is that peace was always our goal. We just had to show them we could fight to make them understand why we choose not to." As darkness fell, dozens of ships from various species twinkled in Earth's orbit. The galaxy was entering a new era, one where understanding replaced fear and cooperation replaced control. And it all began because the Galactic Council had misjudged humanity.